I apologize for the camera glow. The sun will not go down until midnight, and it is not midnight by set it off. So, welcome to my video where I rank every individual System of a Down song. If you've been subscribed to me since about 2022, you'll probably remember a video I made where I ranked every single Panic! At the Disco song. I really like how that video turned out, and albeit a year later, I'm finally making another video. While the Panic! At the Disco video is a little outdated, I just kind of wanted to go in with a different band with a much different musical style. I should state something, the songs themselves will not play as the song card appears on screen, the main reason being copyright, as I don't want this video blocked in certain countries, or everywhere. And also, I tried, but I could not get every single System of a Down song downloaded onto my computer. For whatever reason, it just didn't work. Would not download. So, enjoy the copyright-free disco music. So I'm also going to be going by least favorite to favorite, which includes the songs in the middle of the number rankings. And I'm kind of be playing like a little bit of a slideshow in said number rankings. I'll give my explanations and whatnot then, but the first number rating I'm going to be going in is a 4 out of 10. But don't worry, it's only one song. No has always been my least favorite System of a Down song. I always found it to be a little too over the place, and unlike some of my other System songs, it works against it rather than for it. The riff is alright, but it's a little too unmelodic, and I just don't really get anything out of it. Next, we're moving on to the 5s, which is the mediocre of the bunch. It's a little similar to the 4s, as there's only 2 songs that I consider a 5. Mind is kind of similar to No in the sense of it's a little too all over the place, but I find Mind to be a little more boring in comparison. Maybe it's because of the longer runtime. I like the riff and soil, but not really the vocal melody, but that's about it. We're actually going to be skipping the 6s, as I don't find any System songs to be a 6 out of 10, but we're still going to be moving on to the 2 songs I believe are 7 out of 10s. I quite like War's Rift, and it's probably one of Darren's best coming out of the self-titled era, but the vocals don't really do it for me as much. Tentative just feels like filler. It's alright, but the vocal harmonies between Darren and Serge just don't work as much as they do in other System songs. Now we move on to the 8s. These are the songs that I quite enjoy, but I don't necessarily come back to on a regular basis. With a lot of these songs, there's typically only one thing that I find a little mediocre compared to the rest of the song. Like, I just find Holy Mountain's length to go against it and makes it a little repetitively boring. And the same can be applied to a song like Mr. Jack. Or in ADD, how I just don't really like the switch between the rough and melodic parts. But as I said before, these songs are great, there's just a little bit of mediocrity in them. But now we're moving on to the 9s. These are the songs that I have gone out of my way to listen to, but just don't do it quite as often as I may do 10. These are on my main playlist, and if I'm scrolling by, I may or may not cognitively listen to it. Now this is branching into the little to no issues territory as well. If I were to have any complaints, they are quite minor compared to 8s. This is also where we can see a lot of Toxicity and Mesmerize songs come into play, comparative to other albums at least. On to the 10s. There are the songs that I basically just consider perfect. Like, I've listened to these bunches of times and I still listen to them regularly. When it came to deciding my favorite System song, I think the obvious choice is Chop Suey. There are some other System songs that I think are as good as Chop Suey, like Prison Song, Lonely Day, and etc., but Chop Suey is how I found System, and it's their most interesting and probably the most beautiful song they've ever recorded, while also being a fucking thrash headbanger. Some of my other favorites is some of the most creative pieces of music I've ever heard written, which is Radio Video. I don't even know how to describe this song. It's like a weird metal reggae pop song that's all rounded out in terms of regression, melodicism, and outside influences. Lonely Day might stick out from the bunch as being a favorite, but similarly to Chop Suey, it's also a song that helped get me into System. And I know I've listened to that song a shit ton too, and that fucking solo is wild. Pretty much every other song I consider perfect in some way, like the ballad Roulette and ATWA, or the weird-ass song Bubbles. Also, Bubbles is the most underrated song. I am not taking any other rank. But that's it for my System ranking. How would you rank your favorite System songs? What is your favorite System albums? On it, anything about System, I would love to hear in your comments. Even if you don't like the band, even if you fucking hate System of a Down, I'd still love to hear what your criticism and what, just anything about System. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. See ya, bitches.